Hello?
Yeah.
Sheila?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
here.
yeah.
I'm here.
Christy said that was the last link, so she's going to change the name of the link and then I have it.
Oh, great.
Hello?
Yes.
Sheila? Who's that?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
You can't hear me?
Christy said that was the last link, so she's going to change the name of the link and then I
Oh,
have it.
no. Oh, great.
There's a delay, obviously.
Yeah, there's a delay. As soon
What
as
was that from?
okay, I had to get out of YouTube because as soon as I went in there, there was a delay. So that's out. And I'm not great at that anyway. So I'm gonna go on my phone hotspot. So disappointed. I wanted to be able to do that. Um, what am I doing right now? I am no. Okay, I need to get my settings. Setting. It's gonna come down out there.
I have the link,
For
so I
what?
can drop it.
Oh, great. Oh, here we go. Now I'm online. Okay, so now that's okay.
I'm excited. I feel like it's going to go great. Let me,
Oh, this is scheduled. It looks like it's scheduled on YouTube. So Maria has it scheduled already.
okay.
So I don't know what that means, how I get, I don't know. I just don't understand that. She's probably doing that somehow. And mom is on. It's 7 o'clock. Mom is our client. All right. I need to know how to record first before I let her in. And it's not coming
How to
up.
record?
Yeah, how to record. I need to know how to, it's not
Expand your screen. I have a record. You want me to record?
extended. Yeah, can you? Do you have the ability
Mhm.
to? Great, go
Oh,
for it.
no, no, I don't.
Mine is all the
It
way
says
expanded
request
so
to
far.
record to this computer, request host to record to the cloud. So when you expand your screen, like I have participants chat, react, share, AI
Oh,
companion.
record. Got it.
Yeah.
Record to the cloud. Awesome. Okay. Hello. Hello and welcome everyone to
Hello.
our Breaking Free Masterclass, Effective Communication. We're just giving everyone a few minutes to get on. We will be also recording for those of us that are live inside the app. You will be receiving all of the materials right where you are, so that's really amazing. And for anyone joining on Zoom that is going to be here live, we'll be dropping our information in the links for you as well. And we are just getting started. How's everyone doing? Awesome.
Awesome.
How are you
You have a
doing,
nice.
Maureen?
I'm doing great. I'm doing
Awesome.
great. I'm excited to see everybody and to share all of this great information. I've seen it help so many people, so I'm super excited about it.
Exactly. Me too. Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started right away, and Maureen is going to walk us through some best practices for this time together. We will be on here for about an hour, probably at the most, so you can manage your time. Maureen will walk us through some best practices, and then I'm going to bring us into getting grounded into the moment. So, welcome to our Breaking Free Effective Communication Masterclass. We're so excited to have you here, whether you're watching it at midnight, 4 a.m., any day, or you're on here live with us. You are in exactly the right place at the right time. So, with that, Maureen's going to kick us off.
Yes, welcome. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to see you all here. And before we begin this empowering masterclass, I just want to set the tone for a few of our best practices that we will help you to get the most out of our time together. So first things first, I'm actually dropping the link to our workbook right now so you can all follow along nice and easy. And you can also follow along on our Transformational Gangsters app. So if you haven't downloaded that, go ahead and do that. There are exercises in there that coincide with tonight's class. So definitely don't want you to miss out on any of that important information. And it's just a great resource. So let's just start by taking a nice breath. And I want to remind you to come with an open mind tonight and just a willingness to learn and to try something new. Let's get comfortable being uncomfortable if that's where you're at. And let go of any preconceived notions and just allow yourself to explore. There'll be some new ideas here tonight, maybe some new perspectives. And we are just asking you to approach this session with a little bit of curiosity and a desire to grow in whatever that way that can mean to you. And we want to hear from you. So let's go ahead and use that chat box because that's a great place to engage with us and let us know if there's anything you're hoping to achieve from tonight's masterclass. We want to hear that. If you do have any fears or anything that's like blocking you or standing in your way around the topic of communication, we want to hear from you. We want to tailor this workshop to really answer any questions and to help you get through any goals that you have around communication. And then another question, what kinds of conversations are you currently navigating? Is there anything that you're going through in your life and any areas that you are feeling stuck? So we want to help work through that. Let's solutionize that. Let's get you feeling unstuck, right? So we're tailoring this session just to you. So let's create this space together, right? Let's be present. I want you to take notes so you have a place to reflect. So let's go ahead and locate a notebook or some paper or a journal. I have my handy notebook. I love to take notes as I go along. It helps me to have a place, like I said, to reflect back to after. And you can write in your notebook or your journal any takeaways that you have, anything that stands out to you. If you do have any insights, that's a great practice to go ahead and write those down as we go. And then these notes become a powerful reminder later as you apply these tools into your real life. So we want you to have a record of that. And then we want you to be able to apply what you learn. So the real magic of this workshop happens after tonight. It's great that we're all here together and we're learning together, and that's wonderful. And then what happens after? We don't want to lose any of that. So we want to give you these tools to help you to implement them into your day-to-day communication so that you can practice them, you can experiment with them, and you can watch how things shift in your life as you grow. So effective communication sometimes can make you feel uncomfortable, and we're going to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. And this may challenge you if you have an old pattern that is something that we can work through together, and that's okay. That's powerful. So be willing to lean into that discomfort. That's where the real transformation truly begins. And then just as a reminder, we do have that downloadable workbook. It's inside the TG app, and that's packed with exercises. There's follow-up tools to support you and help you to grow beyond tonight's class because that's what it's all about. So we want you to use this to just deepen your understanding and your practice, that we cover everything today, and come with an open mind. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Sheila. So she's going to get us started with some of our first tools and really get us grounded in a great place.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Maureen. Getting grounded. So this is our time. Your time is your time is your most valuable asset that you will ever have. So what we would like to do in this moment is start to take a few deep breaths and just come into this feeling of being calm, this feeling of being nurtured, this feeling of being self-loyal to you, to yourself. As we start to just get settled into the moment, I want to share some things that you can expect tonight. And then we're going to really get into some grounding exercises. Are you with me? Are we all together? Awesome. Tonight or today, whatever we're watching this back, we're here to unlock your inner potential, that internal voice that oftentimes gets silenced or for whatever reason. In the book that we wrote, Breaking Free from Mobster to Mentor, my wife Maria shares the story about omerta and keeping silent. It's omerta is a Southern Italian code of silence. They used it in the mob, but you know what? We use it in our households. We use it at work. We use it in very, very many different places. And we're here to unlock that inner voice, okay? Tapping into our power of what we call our inner mentor, our internal guidance system, and really break free and break away from those negative voices, the self-doubt, the coulda, woulda, shouldas, all of that that we call the voice of our inner mobster. We all have one of those inner mobsters. Maria shares she grew up, on the streets in the mob life with the, everybody, friends, neighbors, everybody was involved somehow, whether they liked it or not, in many cases. And that voice of the inner mobster, even though she left that story, that voice comes and stayed with her. And she shared about that more in the book. And we can all think about that voice that we all have, that inner mobster. And we're here to really reclaim our own confidence and shift into a new direction. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is we're going to learn how to have what we call a sit down. A sit down is a very specific method, not just sitting down, shooting the breeze. We're going to teach you step by step how to structure effective conversations, whether it's at home or it's at the workplace or even at the car dealership, wherever you go, learning how to speak clearly and listen deeply and hold the space for change, for transformation. That's the second thing that we're going to do. And that's why we're going to get very intentional, starting off with our breath work and getting grounded. The third thing that you're going to take away from this masterclass is how to establish healthy boundaries. I don't even know if I mentioned setting goals, because that's going to be the whole night is about setting goals. And we have some people popping in. So after just getting ourselves comfortable and going over, the third takeaway from tonight is establishing healthy boundaries. And if people are participating, coming in a little bit later, that's okay. I'm just going to share with you, this is recorded and we're going to have it inside of your app so that you can download that and watch it at another time. Tonight is all about shifting into our personal power, about finding our voice and giving yourself permission to use that voice. Because lots of times, like I shared, we just hold back. And for many different reasons, like we're just talking about at work, at school, at with the kids, with the family, whatever it is. So I'm inviting you to really get engaged. Use the chat as Maureen invited us into earlier and tell us what brought you here. What type of challenges are you having? Where are you feeling stuck mostly? What would you change in your life if you did have the courage to shift the way that you speak? Okay, this is a non-judgmental, supportive space. So let's lean into this together and let's take a few of those deep breaths. If you haven't gotten yourself grounded or you don't even know what that means, not a challenge. I'm going to talk us through it. Put your both feet on the floor And just take a few deep breaths in through your nostrils, bringing that breath into your body and just releasing whatever does not serve you right out through your exhale. Just rolling maybe your shoulders back, stretching your neck out, whatever areas that might be a calling to you, asking for some more attention, just breathe into that space. And let's just pause and remember, before any powerful conversations, before any sit down, how we say something can be just as impactful as what it is we're going to say. And I don't mean just the tone, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later. What I'm talking about is your presence. How often are we multitasking, juggling different things, and wondering why that conversation or that sit down or that story in my life isn't going well? Preparation is everything. And that's what we're doing right now. We're preparing ourselves to show up with clarity, with calmness, and with confidence, no matter where we came. Yester moment, might have just walked right out of work. We don't know. Many of you are inside of our app already, and you're watching this from the privacy of your phone, wherever you are, whatever time of day or night this is. Getting grounded is going to bring us into anchoring, and we're anchoring into what we call our smart solutionizer intentions, meaning being very intentional. And to us, being a solutionizer is letting go of all the problemizers. I'm sure we meet them all, walking around in the street, wherever we go, at work. You know, there's so many, there's 100 ways to describe the problems that we have. And sometimes we only need one solution. So that's what we're going to be doing, is focusing on a really intentional, getting into tonight as a solutionizer, not a, but I don't have time, but I don't have this. Okay. And what the definition of this smart solutionizer is, a belief or a commitment that centers your message and aligns you with the outcome you desire. So setting your intention. Before we get to that part, this is what's called getting ready to get ready. So setting your intention, getting grounded, feeling into this moment, thanking yourself for showing up for yourself. That is all part of the takeaway from tonight. So as you're getting into that nice, comfortable position, start deepening your breath, breathing in through your nostrils, pretending like there's a balloon inside your belly, and your only job is to fill that belly up and let go of whatever does not serve you. As you're breathing, allow the weight of your day to be just gently released, letting go of tension in your body, in your jaw, in your mind. You're here to relax and get into a hypnotizing role where you're self hypnotizing to really move into these effective communication and take these skills and not just have it as a nice to know, have it as a, I really embodied this workshop. And also, once again, if you did pop on late, grab a pen and a paper, because we want to make sure that you are tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. So now that we're here and we're got into our breath and we're in this calm, collected place, we're going to take another breath in and we're going to breathe in one word. And that word is called trust. And where we have trust, doubt cannot live. Where we have trust, fear cannot live. We can breathe in these feelings, feeling of what is possible. Maybe we're dealing with a challenging situation, a family situation where communication is extremely challenging. We can breathe in possibility, because tomorrow doesn't have to be another repeat of today. Tomorrow could be a brand new day. So let's breathe in our intention. Let's breathe in trust and possibility and let go out of our bodies fear, stress, anxiousness, self-doubt, all of those things. And if you'd like to repeat silently to yourself, may the best outcome for all involved be reached today. This is a great way to get prepared for any conversation, any sit down that you're going to be moving into. Again, getting prepared beforehand, taking a few moments to energetically calm your breath before you walk into what could be a very challenging situation, whether you're asking for a raise, whether you're having to fire someone yourself, whether you're having a very challenging conversation with a teenage child over something very important, with a spouse, with siblings, whatever it is. Saying something kind to yourself grounds your energy. You can even say, I trust myself to communicate clearly, kindly, and truthfully. And just setting those intentions is part of what you're going to be taking away with you tonight. So, confidence to confide in is to trust in. Confidence is trust in yourself. So, what does that mean to you? Setting this intention, it's not about, getting into a battle. It's about choosing frequency first, right? Because if we're going into a battle, we're bringing that energy. So even if it feels like a battle, maybe we have to go have a sit down with our attorney and we have a really big lawsuit or a challenge happening. These things happen every single day. Even then, we cannot get ourselves stressed out enough or fear-filled enough to change the situation for the better. We can, however, get ourselves grounded enough and into this frequency, maybe shifting, if you want to think about shifting the Wi-Fi channel. If you don't like what you're listening to, you got to change the channel. And that holds our clarity, integrity, and self-loyalty. We want to make sure we're on the vibration, that high vibe. People talk about high vibe cruise and all of that type of thing. We want to make sure we're on the right vibration, that we feel safe, that we're available for ourselves, that we trust ourselves, that the best outcome for all involved is going to come out of this investment of my time. And when we prepare ourselves, we're ready to respond, we're ready to connect and not react. So showing up 15 minutes early, that's part of it. Early is on time is late, late is not acceptable. Well, actually, late shifts your energy and puts you on a different vibration. Would you agree? And lots of times, this brings us into a place that's not where we want to be. And conversations can get disrupted. So in the chat, I'd like to invite you to share if you'd like. If you're inside of our app, you can certainly share as a message inside the app. And if you're live on YouTube, you can share there as well. Question: how are you feeling now that you've taken a moment, just a moment, to breathe, to ground, and set an intention for yourself? How does that feel? When was the last time that you did that? We're building a safe space here for each other, for us to get started in a very safe way. So with that, now that we grounded ourselves, we're going to take this conversation into a very interesting step. Now, the second thing, first, is getting prepared. If we're not prepared energetically, not just having our notes written down and all the things we have to say, if we are not in alignment, it's already half the battle. And the second thing is, when we do show up for our having highly effective communications, it is not about getting prepared with papers. This part is really about learning a new language. And I want to share that language. Does anybody here speak more than one language? Maybe you do. Well, tonight you're going to learn a new one. And the language is body language. Body language is 55% of all communications, whatever language we do speak. What people are receiving from you, 55% of it, means you have 45% left. And what do we do with the 45%? Well, isn't that all of the stuff I prepared for my summit? Not necessarily. Because 38% of what people take away from you, from your communication, is the tone of your voice. So wait a second. Got 55%, which is body language, which is eye contact, which is a firm handshake, which is sitting squarely, which is showing up prepared. We just reviewed that. And then the second 38% is the tone of your voice. Now, I thought, maybe many people think, that the delivering is the words. But that's only 7% of your communication is what it is you're saying. So this might start to answer, why don't they hear me? How come my spouse never hears me, or the people at work? I feel like I'm talking, but they're not listening. Well, you're relying on 7%. Let's see if we can shift the 55 and the 38 to show up differently, because the whole world is responding or reacting to how you're showing up. So if you don't like how that's happening, or you want to do something different, you have to show up differently, because sitting around and waiting for everyone else to change isn't going to work. Period. Ended. It's not going to work. So body language, what can we improve with effective communication in body language? Facial expressions. How about posture? How about, am I, forward and down, or am I relaxed? What message would I like to send? Gestures speak louder than words. Eye contact. I went over a few of those already. Now, am I standing with my arms crossed? This might say I'm closed. I'm closed-minded. Do I have my hands open? I'm open-minded. I'm here and I'm engaged. One of the things too is letting go of devices, phones and computers, and all of that is really sapping in 2025. It's sapping the energy from the speaker and the receiver. Whether or not, like I said, even at a family, a family sit down, which is very important. You have important things to say. We can't be like half listening, half on the phone. Okay. And a story that I would like to share about body language is when I'm actually a massage therapist, is one of the trades, along with a licensed therapist. I also am a life coach, and I work a lot, or oftentimes, with energy-based coaching, energy-based thinking, energy-based feeling, with even Reiki and things like that. And when I graduated massage school, while I was in school, I was taught that the firmer the handshake, the message that people were receiving is this person is going to deliver a deeper treatment or a deeper massage. And the weaker or the lighter the handshake, we're already communicating just with a handshake. So now that's not just about massage. That's about a business relationship. Let's shake on it. Well, is the person really there? Or are they just like, okay. Or are they all in, the hand over the other hand? So it does speak a lot to different cultures as well. And having eye contact is very important for us if we are being intentional, making that eye contact, making it important for you, and just checking in with your body. Like right now, what message are you sending right now? I'm not looking at you. I don't know. What message do you feel that you're sending? And one way to capture your message is to take out your phone, take a quick picture. 1 second. You take that picture. And you can start to become aware of your body language. You can even do a little video of yourselves. Drop your shoulders. Maybe your shoulders are high. Maybe your jaw is clenched. Maybe you're frowning. There's different things. And we can start to look at that. Next, we're talking about tonality, how we're saying something. It accounts for that 38%. Write that down for your notes of how your message is received by someone else. Now, we can say the same words, but your tone determines how it lands. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. 3 different messages, same words. Now, this is also going to answer 50% of all emails everywhere, in every organization, in every company, in every household, everywhere. are misread, misinterpreted, misunderstood. Well, it's missing 93%. And now how about a text? Do you ever get a text or give a text and someone says, oh, that's terrible? Well, that's what they said. And then someone else reads it and goes, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's our interpretation. And everyone has that. If you've ever heard perception is reality, this is what we're talking about. Perception is reality. Let them perceive you. Don't only rely on texts. Don't only rely on emails. And if you do have to heavily rely on those, can you add punctuations? Can you add different emojis, even whatever it is, to help paint a little bit more of the tonality or a little bit more of the communication? And your pitch, your volume, the speed that you're speaking. Are you speaking too fast? Are you speaking too slow? I've also had an opportunity with two women that came here from Arizona, and I was speaking with my wife Maria to them, and they asked, what language were we speaking? Because we were speed talking New Yorkers. Just, yeah, you got it. Yep, we got the reservation. It's 3 o'clock. There's 4 of them. That's it. And it was overwhelming. So ask yourself, am I rushing? Am I sounding condescending? That's another one. Am I being direct? Am I being direct and warm? What is the temperature of this conversation? What is it that I want to deliver? Because sometimes direct is what I want to deliver, and sometimes warmth is what I want to deliver. And so being super clear and mindful with yourself prior to speaking, you will be heard differently. The words are the final 7%. They do matter. It's not that they do not matter, especially when we're looking as solutionizer. We're looking to look for solutions. We want to also take a look and see, what are the words? Are we being thoughtful? Can we be more thoughtful with the word choices to help minimize confusion or emotional escalation or misunderstandings? So that is something that we're going to be also talking about through the rest of our time together, as we go through the first exercise. That, if you already have the link, it's called your Smart Solutionizer framework for your next sit down. And that is called a SMART goal. And Maureen is going to talk us through how to make a SMART goal around enhancing and being more effectively being able to communicate. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Maureen.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much, Sheila. That was such a nice grounding experience, and I think got us all in the right sort of mindset for the rest of the evening. And also, it's a powerful reminder to what we call get ready to get ready. And that's a way of putting your oxygen mask on first so that you can better be there for yourself and for other people in your life. And I just want to take a moment to thank all of you for being here and for just showing up for yourself, because that takes courage and it gives you the space to explore and be vulnerable and remind yourself that your voice and your feelings matter and communicating them into the world matters. So a good couple of questions I want to share with you to just get the mindset around our next exercise, like Sheila mentioned. First is, if you've ever asked yourself, should I say something or should I stay silent? Or what if I say something wrong? Or is this stupid? Should I just delete it? If you ever asked yourself those, then I just want to remind you that you are not alone. I've been there too. Sheila has been there too. We've all been there before. And what we're doing today is something we called breaking your omerta. And that means breaking your code of silence because your voice matters. So let's just take a moment to locate the chat box. This is an interactive workshop, so we want to hear from you. So if you're on the Zoom, locate the chat box. If you're in the app, you can message us. And I just want to hear from you, where in your life are you right now that you would like a structured sit down or a structured communication around, and you're maybe feeling a little stuck or you need a little more confidence. So that could be a situation with maybe a coworker or a parent or a child. Maybe it's with your partner, or maybe it's even with yourself, right? So there's different people in your life who you may want to just have that conversation, but there's something holding you back. So I just want to remind you, let's go ahead, just take a deep breath, allow yourself to be honest, and let that answer come through. What do you really want to get out of this workshop together, or this master class? And once that comes to you, I just want to hear from you in the chat box. Just write "got it," so we know that you have a place that you're focusing on for the rest of the evening. And next, I want to start to explore how to prepare for a sit down. So sit down is that communication that you're going to have with that person who maybe you've been holding back from. And so we want you to feel more prepared. Sheila mentioned that earlier as well. And sometimes this preparation is necessary when you're allowing what we call your inner mobster to drive the conversation versus your inner mentor. So your inner mentor is where all of the positivity and the good conversation is coming out. But sometimes your inner mobster allows for other feelings to come through. So this framework Sheila spoke about, it's called the SMART Solutionizer Framework. And this is your next step for having a sit down. And this allows you to get your whole mindset around a real SMART goal so you have complete clarity on what you're focusing on. So SMART is an acronym. So the first letter is S. So I want you to go ahead in your notebook or your journal or your paper that you have prepared. I want you to write down the letter S, and this stands for specific. So I want you to write down now a clear, focused purpose of the conversation and get as specific as you can. So a good example of this can be, I want to discuss how I'm feeling unsupported in our meetings, right? That could be an example. So for you, I want you to really just get specific within yourself and write down what you'd like to focus on and how you're going to start that conversation. The second letter in the acronym for SMART is M, and this stands for measurable. So how will you know if this conversation is successful? You want to apply some area where you can measure. For example, if we're in a work situation, you can ask the person to agree on a weekly check-in for moving forward. So if that weekly check-in is in place, not only do you have a specific timeline around that, but you also are tracking your progress along the way. So you're allowing that to have a trackable place. So something that's measurable, right? Then the next letter is A. A stands for actionable. So what steps are you within control to move forward? Right? So an example of this can be a saying like, I will initiate the next check-in and clarify my expectations. So that's something that's actionable. So you can put that within yourself as well. So having a date, having something specific that's measurable, and then putting in an action step. If it's something that you would like to have done, maybe it's something around the house. You want, your husband to clean out the closet. So it'll say, okay, by next week, we'll make sure the closets are cleaned out. So we have from now until then. So some sort of an action step there. And then the next letter is R, and that stands for realistic. So is this conversation aligned to what's actually possible right now? You want to keep that a realistic goal. And you can ask yourself if this is emotionally realistic, is it practically realistic? Is it logistically realistic? So you want to make sure that you're applying a realistic goal and you're not asking for something that's unmanageable. And then the next letter I want you to write down is T. So T stands for timely. And you want to put a timeline on this. So when do you want to have this conversation? What's your timeline for seeing the change? What's your timeline for completing the task? So you want to have all of that already outlined before you even go into the sit down. So you have that preparation. Sheila mentioned how important the preparation is, and that is how specific you can get with your SMART goal. So you want to help niche it down as much as you can to really get the specifics set in there. And also everything that we're going over tonight, I just want to remind you that you don't need to memorize all of this because sometimes that can feel overwhelming. We're actually going to be sending you, after we finish this evening, we're going to be sending you a SMART Solutionizer PDF. So you can actually write directly in there as you're preparing for any of these sit down conversations in your life. So you'll have that. Also within the app, we do have that there as well. The app is really your hub of information of everything that we're talking about in this masterclass tonight. So you have access to all of that just because you signed up as well. So stress free, we don't have to worry about that. You're going to get all of this information sent to you as well. So let's go ahead and take the next 60 seconds, and I want you to write in the chat box, where in your life are you right now, and where are you feeling stuck, and where do you need more confidence? So we're going to just help to get a little bit more specific with what we're looking to get out of this. So are you feeling like your place that you're looking to have these conversations, or you're feeling stuck? Is it with that coworker we mentioned, your child, or your parent, your partner, or yourself? So let's really identify all of that, and then allow yourself to just, be honest, like I said before. And the truth will come out if you just give yourself the time to work through this PDF that we're sending you and allow yourself to be prepared. Then you're going to go into this with that much more confidence and feel really like you completed the getting ready to get ready. So that's really what we want you to accomplish before the next step, which is actually having the sit down. So Sheila's really going to dive right into how to go right into that sit down. So Sheila, I'm going to go ahead and pass it right over to you, and let's get started. Let's have that sit down.
Okay. Now we're getting ready to get ready. We know about our breath work. We know how to align our energy. We're going to show up on time. Early is on time is late. Late is not acceptable for our effective communication. We're going to check ourselves in the mirror, take pictures, photos, whatever it is we need to do, and see what is it, how am I showing up? Is it the way that I choose to? Getting ourselves ready. Then we had our goal. What does this look like? Once we write things down on paper, it becomes much more clear. Would you agree? Is that right? It helps us with clarity. And so now the next aspect where we're going to be moving is taking that SMART goal, or that goal of where it is we want to get to. And we're going to be going through yet another acronym. And what we're going to be doing now is having a sit down. And you're going to also have this in your links. And having the actual sit down has a framework, and it does go through the acronym. So if you could follow along, or you can jot with your pen, whatever you like, whatever works for you, works for us, because your voice matters and you showed up today for yourself. S in sit down is your situation or strategy. So you can take that SMART goal and say, well, what is the situation? What is my strategy? And you can start by even just describing the situation. Maureen asked to drop in the chat. So this is exactly what we're talking about. What's actually happening? What's triggering me? So you're almost becoming your own mentor for a moment. Where have your boundaries maybe been ignored? We're going to talk about boundaries in just a few minutes. This is the moment to really reclaim your truth and to write it down without judgment. So this is not about beating yourself up. No shouldas, no couldas, no wouldas, none of those. This is not about judgment. It's about providing absolute clarity. The I in sit down is to identify your feelings, because words are the language of the brain and of the mind. Emotions are the language of the heart space. Different. Doesn't have to match the words. I can still bring up an emotion. Feelings are the language of the body. How do you feel? I don't feel well. Why? And we can tie it from a thought, we can tie it to an emotion, and we can tie it to a feeling, and that is coming into alignment. So identify your feelings. How does this make you feel? Name the emotion. Don't expect other people to read your mind. Even if you say, I'm fine, you still want to make sure that you are showing up for yourself, because the most important sit down you can ever have is the one that you have in a mirror. Different people may see the same situation very differently. We talked about that before with the two texts. I mean, the one text, but the two people looking at the texts. I think it looks great. Someone else thinks it's condescending and undermining. Who's wrong? Well, no one's wrong. And our brains don't know the difference between right or wrong. Our brains know what we tell it. So what are you telling yourself? How are you feeling? T, and sit down. The T is for trust and thanks. Begin with appreciation. Begin with assuming positive intent, thanking the person to be willing to have this sit down or to be willing to come to this meeting with you. Say something positive and trust yourself. We said to confide in is to trust in. And the greatest relationship you can ever build trust with is in yourself. That your intention is valid. That intentionality is everything. Your voice is worth hearing. Know that. And that clarity is a form of kindness. The more clear we can be with our communications, verbal and written, is a form of kindness. Because otherwise, it's ambiguous and we're asking people to figure stuff out. We don't even know. And then after we trust and thank, move into the D for down. And D is for direct. Stay on track. Use your SMART solutionizer tool that you just created, that SMART goal. Stay on track. That's still your goal. Stay specific, measurable, and clear, setting expectations and schedule a follow-up. Keep the conversation from spiraling and going all over the place. Some people say, oh, I went left. I don't know what happened. I went in. So gently redirect it if it does go away from where you want it to be. Oh is that omerta again, that word omerta. Break your omerta. Make a promise to yourself that I'm going to say what needs to be said. I can be in my adult and rational with the best outcome for all. That's my intention. With heartfelt honesty. Silence serves no one. I had to bite my lip. I almost bit my tongue off. It serves no one. Direct, authentic communication is a gift for both parties. It's a gift when you're giving it, and it's a gift when it's being received. W, wear your confidence. Check yourself in your mirror before your conversation, breathing, resetting your posture, affirming your worth. Now, you might be asking for an upgrade at work, or you might be asking for more money. Maybe something went up. This is about you owning your assets. And your time is your greatest and your most valuable asset. So own it. Own that seat at the table. And the N is for negotiate or not. Be open and not compromising your core. What's on that SMART goal is getting done. Now, some things, and there's so much worth being flexible for. Some things need boundaries. Know the difference. Am I being flexible and not breakable? Because when I break, it's always going to be another sit down. We got to keep coming back to the table. So use your discernment. And if needed, bring a third party, a mediator, even another voice in the room, if that's what you need. So negotiate or not is the last one. Now, you're going to be receiving this downloadable PDF worksheet in the app to walk you through this framework again. We don't expect tonight you're going to get all of this done. So don't worry if you didn't catch every single step. So now, let's do this. Think about a sit down that you have been avoiding, a person, a topic. Would you be open to taking the next steps in setting up that sit down? If so, write it down right now. Choose that person, place, thing. What is it going to be for you? Is it going to be a phone call? Is it going to be a sit down? Because again, remember, when we're in the same room, or at least on a Zoom call, we have a picture. We have some tonality. We have tonality on the call as well. And how we up level the effective communication is being able to see with eye contact. So think about that. So write down the person or the situation that you're going to have a sit down with. And, sometimes it's a sit down with ourselves. So we can do that too. Not really creating what we call boundaries. So with that, I'm going to ask you if there's an area in your life where you feel like maybe you're even giving too much, whether it's time, energy, money, and it's beginning to maybe affect you negatively, you're not feeling well, if so, you do drop that yes in the comments. Many of the folks that we work with inside of our community, our private community, they share this. And boundaries matter in communication. And Maureen is going to talk us through setting some boundaries of self-respect and how to do that when we are having these very important conversations. And I'll be back in just a few minutes to wrap us up. So thank you so much, Maureen.
Yes, thank you, Sheila. I just love that sit down exercise. I think it is the best way to prepare for an important conversation. So thank you for breaking that down. It's such an effective tool to use for communication and for preparation, which, like we said, is key. So as Sheila mentioned, our next topic is boundaries. And I want to start by asking yourself, why do boundaries matter in communication? Right? Setting boundaries is about self-respect, self-awareness, and clarity. Because when we create clear boundaries, we're inviting in healthier conversations, relationships, and even healthier environments because it feels better. When we're more prepared, we have more control over our energy because we created those boundaries. And just as a reminder, I love this saying about boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they're bridges. They help to get you to the other side of that goal or that conversation, whatever it is that you're focusing on. And they help us to protect our own peace while still staying in that connection with the other people who are involved. And there's a couple of key principles that I want you to write down and reflect on. And again, we will send this to you, so you don't have to do this all in this moment, but I would like to walk you through some of these. So the first key principle is understanding the why. Why do you need to set these boundaries? And just as a reminder, setting a boundary is not selfish, not at all. It's actually essential to get to that goal, and you'll respect yourself more later, and so will the other parties. These boundaries, they give your voice structure, they prevent you from feeling burnt out, and they help others respect your time and your energy, most important. So you really want to protect that peace, that energy that you have within yourself. And then you want to define your boundaries and knowing exactly what they are. So how can you hold a boundary if you're not exactly clear on what it is you expect somebody else to be, right? So where in your life do you feel like you need more clarity? So think about, maybe it's a place that you want to respect a little bit more of your own privacy. Maybe it's about your emotional space. Maybe it's about your time or your values or your energy. So let's go ahead and get clear on exactly defining those boundaries. And then next you want to think about how to communicate them clearly. And the best way to use this is called I statements. So this helps you to be direct and not defensive. So let me give you an example. I need to step away from this right now. Or I don't feel comfortable discussing this right now. Or I need this done by the end of. So think about an I statement that can help with your specific situation. And let's put that into a sentence. So you have a prepared sentence that you are ready for that will be an I statement for what you need or what you feel. The next thing you want to do is be consistent. When you waver, others waver. So you want to be consistent and you want to reinforce those boundaries with a calm, repeated clarity. So you just stay calm, no reason to lose your cool, but keep reinforcing that boundary and keep repeating it and keep that clarity. Next, you want to practice active listening because it's not only about your voice, it's listening to others. And this way you can build a mutual respect for each other. Sometimes when you actually allow yourself to hear from the other party, you can realize where they're coming from and maybe you can reach a mutual understanding. So you want to expect them to listen to you and also you want to listen to them as well. Then the next key factor here is you want to be flexible, but hold your ground. So some situations, they may call for an adjustment and that's okay. Negotiation is part of that connection with other people. And you just want to keep in mind it's okay to negotiate, but don't abandon that core need. So keep the eye on the prize with that one. And then next you want to reflect on this regularly. They're not boundary, it's not a set it and forget it situation. You want to ask yourself periodically, am I honoring myself, or am I being too rigid, or am I being too loose? When you're being too loose, you're allowing other people to be too flexible with what your boundary is. So those are the key points with boundaries, and let's go ahead and work on making this real. So I have a few powerful self-reflection questions. So let's go over those. So first thing you want to ask yourself is, have I created clear boundaries? And then fill in the blank for where that is. Is that at work? Is that in your home space? Is that with your significant other, another relationship, a friendship, whatever it is? So have you set that clear boundary? Because if it's not clear to you, it's not going to be clear to them. Next, you want to ask yourself, am I organizing my schedule in a way that supports my energy? So if you have a boundary maybe around working out, but you're allowing yourself to stay late at work every day, maybe you didn't respect your schedule in a way that would be conducive with that boundary. And then, am I as present with my family as I am at work? Because just because you have a specific goal, you still want to be able to maintain that balance, because otherwise something else is going to pull you in another direction. And then you want to ask yourself, which boundary do you struggle with holding? So is it about your emotions? Is it about your time? Is it about your space? Is it about your finances? So you can work around all of those so that nothing is going to get in your way. And then I want you to end with one I statement that you can start to assert your needs. So if there's one takeaway from that, let's go ahead and write that I statement. And if you're on the Zoom here, you can go ahead and write it in the chat. And of course, in the app, you can do it through the message section. And then I want to encourage you to take away everything that you've learned here tonight and work on reflecting that. And again, all the information we have in the top of the chat, so you can actually download the workbook. And in the app, you get even more information. So I definitely want to encourage you to go there. And then ask yourself, where do you need stronger boundaries to protect your voice, your peace, and even your presence, right? If you're feeling like you need that pull for more support, we want to be here for you for that. And then the last thing that I want to do is invite you into a discovery call. So I'm going to drop the link to that right now, and you can actually book a 20-minute call with us so we can dive deeper into your specific situation, so we can just niche down into what's exactly going on in your life. You can do that directly in the app, and I'm going to drop the link for it right now. So the last takeaway I want to do with you is to make sure that we get that one-on-one time with you, so that you know that you're in a safe space with us and we can actually take that time to reflect with you. And I want to encourage you to go through all the information in the workbook that we're sharing with you, and work through some of this information that we have in the app. And then let's spend that one-on-one time together so we can really help you to put those action steps into place and start implementing these conversations that you really need. Okay, so I'm dropping that link right now. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Sheila, and she's going to set you up with some closing information and get you ready to have these conversations and get that communication so you can break free and set those boundaries, get that communication flowing.
Thank you so much, Maureen. And thank you for everyone for showing up with curiosity and a commitment to growth and even courage, right? To show up for yourself, Billy. And I just want to personally thank you for joining this masterclass. Inside the app, there is no more underscore that I could put under. Download the app if you have not done that already, because inside our app, it's your safe space to revisit these tools, the worksheets, share some breakthroughs that you might be having as you go through these practices from our Breaking Free Effective Communication class and beyond. So when you get home, or when you get back to whenever you can actually get through all of these paperworks, when you really sit with yourself and be present around this, and have a sit down with yourself and invite yourself into up-leveling your communication, you'll be able to have all the tools that you need. The full Zoom replay is in there. Your downloadable sit-down workbook is in there. The link to schedule your free 20-minute discovery call, like Maureen just offered so kindly. We'd love to speak with you and work with you on your specific challenges. And then we also have a bonus link to read the true story behind this method and where all of these methods have come from. The book that I wrote on my wife Maria's life, who could not be here tonight. She had a conflict and she just wanted to make sure that everybody that attends gets a free copy of her book. It's called Breaking Free from Mobster to Mentor. And we can all take that journey, like Maureen said. Boundaries are not walls, they're bridges. There is a bridge here for you to get you from where you are to wherever it is that you want to be. And if this is something that you're finding a calling to want to find out more, get on that discovery call right away. We do have our next 10-week Mobster to Mentor methodology. It's a 10-week program that we have that's absolutely incredible. It's life-changing. We can get you more information on that. We can also drop a link to find out about that information as well, right inside here for you. We only take 10 people in the class. And if we have you signed up in the next 48 hours, we are going to give you a bonus coaching session. So that's a really great added value. So I want to make sure that you know about that before our time ends. And now I just want to recap a little bit more what we took away from tonight. One, the power of letting go of negative thoughts, how we can enhance our nonverbal communication, how those nonverbal communication speaks louder than the words that we offer. What it means to have an effective sit down, not just have a sit down, and how it can transform your relationships at work, at home, and even with ourselves. Like we said, the most important sit down we can ever have is with ourselves, and how to establish those healthy personal boundaries across every area of your life, your time, your energy, your finances, your self-worth, whatever it is. And then how to start showing up with clarity, confidence, connection, and just showing up for yourself. So don't forget, you have access to the app. Inside of there, you have even more than just tonight's workshop. I also go on each week and offer a 15-minute or less guided meditation and a 15-minute or less breath work workshop. And there's even more information inside of there. We want to hear from you. So please take a moment to fill out our post masterclass survey. A link is going to be included in your follow-up email. Your feedback is so valuable for us. We are here to show up for you. So we want to improve this experience every single time we deliver. And again, we are here for you. Once again, that bonus, sign up in the next 48 hours and you do get a 1-hour coaching session that is a $250 value. So that is a really amazing incentive to start to work on yourself and take that bridge across from where you are to where it is that you wish to be. So with that, I want to thank you on behalf of Maureen, Maria, who couldn't be here tonight, and myself. We want to let you know we care about your whole life. Stay connected, and we'll see you on the inside of the TG app.